Hello and welcome to this video on the Passion Planner Undated Daily in the color Amethyst in the size small. My name is Miranda. I'm going to walk through how I've been using it for this first week of December, helping me with all things planning, gifting, gift wrapping, travel, and even a deep dive into how I'm thinking about a massive quarterly organizational system that I do but I've never tracked before. So let's dive in. If you are unfamiliar, I have done one video prior to this and it was a full setup. So I go through each and every one of these pages, describe them truly at length. I think it was a 25-minute video between two planners. I have yet to fill this in. I will be doing that in the future. As we kind of dive into December, this is where I've currently used it. If you're not familiar, I have this updated template where I'm like, okay, I have the dates in the same place, the temperature and weather in one place, holidays, plans, moon phase, and completed entry. I did not do great at keeping the temperature and weather on here. I do want to keep that just because I do think it's funky to say, oh, it was almost freezing last week, yet this week it's a little warmer and a lot of rain. I'm getting really good at also these weather icons because these initial sketches are a little rough. That's okay. As I mentioned, this week I have to celebrate Secret Santa with some college friends in Philadelphia, kind of the personal projects. I'm definitely on track in the mix of doing at least some of these first couple of things, but today we're going to focus a lot on the Konmari method and cleanup. So let's dive into where we start, and I think this is really a really good example of how I've used this planner and how this planner really has so much flexibility. Being undated, you get to decide the date and you get to put in, what day of the week it is, what your focus is, what that game changer goal is. Being Sunday is where I do a lot of my meal planning. Because I was also leaving, I wanted to make sure I visualized, I had plans to go out to eat, I had plans to be out of my house, so really just taking in this sort of runway to meal prep and do it where I have a couple different options. So I have 2 or 3 different days with the same meal, but that's pretty typical and generally it's not set in stone, more so just saying that I have 2 to 3 servings that I can use as I feel like it. This one I didn't have too much color, but as we go through the rest of days, you'll see I added color. But I really want to dive into this organizational series. I am highly influenced by the Konmari method. I love organization. I worked in organizational design as an engineer, not necessarily as personal in terms of items, but in terms of themes and how to think about using clothes or utilizing your technology or just the tools that you have around. It's something I always look forward to, kind of diving into the back of the closet or the back of a filing cabinet and understanding, okay, what's here, how do we clean it out, and really make sure what we have, we need, and we'll use. So part of this organizational series is going to be centered around that. I'm going to be trying to prioritize mending things, donating them, reduce the amount of landfill. I will try to also do a lot of recycling. So I'm actually really excited to think about especially the technology, how do I recycle that? I'm not too sure. I left the sentimental items and the cat toys for very last, very intentionally, because the Konmari method enables you to kind of grow the sense of joy for items, and I feel as I even come to the cat toys I get, even though I'm not the one deciding which ones spark the joy, I'm gonna have maybe a little bit more sentimental value there. For the rest of the week, I start off really strong. So Monday I come out and I have a lot of ideas around this financial literacy program I'm doing in the spring. I start even talking or writing down what kind of mediums and type of art styles I'm inspired by, what I would want to copy or at least learn, and even doing, the best thing that happened today. I love having this reflection. Tuesday was a little bit of a sprint for sure at work. I didn't put in any details, partly because I also am not necessarily too sure what I want to share here. But then right after work, I immediately ate dinner and then watched Wicked with my friend. It was a late night, so the rest of Wednesday was also impacted. Had an internet outage. It was maybe not my fullest use, but I came back on Thursday with a lot of precision of like, oh wait, I need to get ready for Philadelphia. I need to wrap these presents. I actually used a piece of wrapping paper to cover some of those notes. So it started to think about, okay, how can I both share and also make sure that I'm being mindful of how and what I'm using this planner for. And I dove into Friday as really the professional development and traveled. So this darker blue is my travel time to Philly and my like packing list and organization of how I was thinking about the activities we were doing, how the weather was. Granted, it didn't make it into the book, but you know how it goes. And yeah, ultimately I packed only a couple things. I didn't need too much, which was lovely. Like I said, Saturday and Sunday I did not bring this, so they did not get filled out. A little waste of space, which not my favorite thing, but came back into today and started to re-engage, specifically thinking about some of these personal and work-related content. But in terms of the personal, one of the biggest things I want to get done today and wanted to highlight was that list of organizational areas of focus and how I want to think about it systematically, meaning doing it over and over and making sure we're continuing to have visuals. So I go through a big purge of all of my things at least once a quarter, specifically my clothes, shoes, and accessories. My books, mail, like some of this stuff happens a little less frequently. So I was thinking that in these areas, I would put the day I started and the day I ended, and then once it was finished, color it green or maybe color it different colors. I haven't decided exactly the color scheme here just yet, but that's okay because once I finish this all, I wanted to provide this reflection and maybe I can color coordinate. Like red was a lot easier, red was a lot harder, green was a lot easier, blue I felt more neutral. Like maybe I can do it by feelings, but I want to just be able to consciously reflect on what am I purging, what am I not using, what am I gifting, what am I mending, and think about this as a review space so that in 9 months, when I do this again in September, I can come into it and say, oh, this is what over this year I've given, and as the holiday season or those wish lists start coming up, I can be really mindful and meaningful about what I'm asking for, what I would actually use, things that I know from data I can share that I would actually prefer never to get, or maybe even get a donation on my behalf instead of an item. So that's the layout. In terms of what I'm gonna do with all of this once it's done, I will say for the shoes, clothing, and accessories, I am going to do a full-blown inventory on maybe a Google sheet or an Excel sheet, just to kind of think about. I actually think I started writing it in tomorrow because I am impatient. I think I'm gonna actually create it tomorrow, where it's the year purchased. Is it first or second hand? What's the brand? Where did I get it? What size is it? What material is it primarily? And if it is a blended material, what's that full breakdown? And I just want to see at a high level, what am I wearing the most? What do I have the most of? And how can I think more meaningfully about the things I have? So you can see I use this both progressively. Yeah, I think I filled this out for the week. Classic. Oh, but I didn't do Saturday. I learned there. But I think about it both as a progressive and as a reflective space. So hopefully that helps. Let me know if there's anything here that we went over that you'd like a deeper dive in. And as I go through this update, I will make sure to give you a view of all of the chapters, especially as I continue to set them up. Bye.